in our sun, because our sun is a huge portal to our solar system. I mean, not only can you access our realm, our solar system from any part of the galaxy through our sun, but also other galaxies and other universes. And so they're trying to open up portals, not only in our sun, but here, even within our planet themselves, in China and Africa, in Australia, where the energy is really oppressed. And what they're doing is they're trying to bring in these dark energies in order to take people as hosts, because all that, stuff that they gave people, through this, what's been going on the last 2 years, is the equivalent of a computing device. So what's happening is they're allowing these discarnate inorganic ones, or they want allow them to come in and take these people as hosts. So when they rank up, 5 golf, that's what they call the zombie apocalypse. But, of course, it's really them trying to use these people as hosts for these inorganic ones to just wreak havoc and, towards the positive ascending timeline. But luckily, Michael, the guardians of our universe, known as those that belong to the Emerald Order, the solar office, the solar logos and the office of the Christ, and those that are working for the central universe, if you want to, are here also. And not only are they here, but all the different levels of celestials representing the different realms of the different councils are all here at the same time, making sure that this doesn't happen. So we don't have nothing to worry about. We have all the support and help from heaven at this time, from every level of reality. And what I mean by every level of reality, I'm talking about beyond the Galactic Federation. See, the Galactic Federation is only in charge of the first harmonic universe and second harmonic universe, which consists of dimensions 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once we get into the higher universes, which are consisting of dimensions 7, 8, and 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way to 15, that now we're dealing with non-physical races. So that's what I'm talking about. Those guardians from those realms are actually here helping us this time. So we don't have anything to worry about. It's the final battle, which is going to totally begin a whole new cosmos as this Earth now becomes the epicenter of the multiverse.
Yeah, that's amazing, because I hear from a lot of other people that are in the Secret Space Force and so forth. They talk about all these different programs that are going on out in the galaxies and so forth, in our galaxy and our cosmos, whatever. They talk about slavery that's out there. They talk about and they speak of it like in detail. And I'm like, wow, there's no way you can have that kind of detail about some of the stuff they speak about. So we're seeing like negative corporations out there, kind of like what we saw and we've seen in the movies. So Avatar, I think, that was kind of probably a good, showing of what's kind of going on out there. And then you have like us, you and I and other people that are, trying to help transform humanity. You have this Galactic Council, Federation, so forth, that basically is trying to, keep that at bay and also help us here on Earth. How do you see all that?
Well, technically, what happens here on the Earth will determine everything. We'll either, secure the galaxy as far as reconnecting with the eternal life systems. It'll actually secure the universe and the multiverse, and the entire organic way of life. So that's why, the Earth is, in a way, the most important planet in the multiverse, and that's why we are actually receiving help, from all the way up to the levels of the central universe. Because they know that, what happens here will determine not only reality as we know it, but also everything in the future and in the past. All probable timelines are going to converge as a result of what happens in the here and the now. So that's how important the Earth is.
Yeah, and that's amazing that Earth, has that transformative potential. How did that come about? Is it because the Earth was seeded by so many different races? How did that come about? Why is Earth so important?
The Earth was, from the beginning, the Earth was set as the intergalactic biological storehouse of genetics and specimens, flora, fauna from all across the multiverse. They called it, in its original makeup, they called it the Intergalactic Exchange Center of Information. They called it the Hub. Unfortunately, that project, which was initially developed by the forces of light, the founders of our universe, and then the guardian races that are working with the founders, when they lost it to the interception from, by the fallen ones, the Earth actually became isolated and quarantined from the rest of the galactic and cosmic community. So in a way, you could say that the Earth has been used as a kind of like a prison world for the regressives. But, according to the prophecies, they would actually be eliminated at the end of the cycle, which is now. When they talk about the end of the cycle, they're talking about the end of the 26,000 year cycle, not just the 2,160 or 5,000. We're talking a Platonic year here, which has a lot to do with the revolution of our solar system around the central sun. And so based on these prophecies, we are living that. We are living that where the earth is not going to be restored back to the original, exchange center of cosmic information that was originally designed to do. And that's why when you read in the Bible and it says, there's going to be a whole new heavens and a whole new earth, it's because of this reboot that's about to take place. When this solar flash takes place, that's going to have repercussions everywhere. That's going to not only eliminate all of darkness here, Michael, but darkness throughout the entire multiverse. And in a way, the effects are already being shown because, the intergalactic slave trade that we're talking about, that have been exposed by the whistleblowers, has something that's been going on for millions of years. They've been taking humans from the earth, not within the last 70 years within the private sector, right? The secret, groups that broke away, but they've been doing that for millennium. They've been doing that since the days of Lemuria and the days of Atlantis, because of the fact that we do carry the greatest diversity of genetics. So every species out there, not only in our galaxy, Michael, but in other galaxies, are coveting our DNA because we do have something that they don't have. And this has a lot to do with our original, development as a Terranusian angelic orphan humanoid, which has a lot to do with creating a super race. And so they're after that gene that's going to allow them, but we have it, to access the realms of infinity, which I call the God gene, the God source gene. We're the only specimens in the entire multiverse, Michael, that has that. And so that explains the intergalactic slave trade. They're actually trying to mimic the God source. They're trying to create the cybernetic equivalent through artificial intelligence of the God source. But you can't do that. It's impossible. It doesn't matter how advanced AI ever gets. As long as it doesn't have a soul, AI will never have access to the realms of infinity or eternity. So that's the key. That's the key, and that's what they're after. And that's the reason why the central race, the guardian races of the Rock Confederacy beyond the Galactic Federation, are all here assisting us this time.
Very cool. Very cool. So a lot of us, myself included, are starting to have memories of the secret space program, connections to it. I feel like I was twinned and put in that program, but I still have connections to my twinned soul half. A lot of people were talking about how they're cloned and used in those programs. What's your take on that? And at some point, does that secret space program, because we know that President Trump started the Space Force, is there going to be a connection at some point?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the beginning of disclosure. In other words, solar war police force. In other words, those are the good, benevolent, forces that were developed through the Navy, and other alliances in other worlds, and in other countries. They're actually integrating with the Space Force. So the whole concept of the Space Force is to bring out this advanced technologies, to bring out the replicators, to bring out the healing devices, holographic medbeds, everything. So that's the goal for the Earth Alliance, and that's the reason why they developed Space Force as the fifth military branch of the U.S. But it's really a global type of where we also have Russia involved in the Space Force. We also have other countries that are signed with the alliance that are also part of the Space Force. Basically, all it is that they're trying to somehow bring forth Solar Warden into our planetary realm as a way of disclosing all this advanced technologies that Solar Warden has been using for over 60 years. And then, of course, that's going to lead to first contact, because we do know that, the Earth Alliance is working very closely with members of the Federation of Friends. And so that's going to lead to first contact. In fact, a lot of the members within the Alliance are not humanoid. They're actually Venetian. Most of them are Venetian or Pleiadian. We have some Arcturians and Andromedans, and what they do is they manifest a material body in order to kind of look like us. But as far as many people want to know, well, when is this going to happen? It's already in progress. It's been in progress. There's a huge movement within the secret space program that is all about disclosure. It's all about, bringing forth this new information to the rest of the general public. Which will in turn replace the petrochemical companies, pharmaceutical cartel, and the banking system, and all that as we know it.
Wow, that's fantastic! Wow, you really tapped in some good stuff. So Venetian. So I have memories of going to Venus and training with the Venusians, underground cities, and the just incredible beauty. Also, cloud cities. And when I have those memories, I remember that there was a Star Wars show where they had, or movie where they had like cities in the clouds. So I think it's very similar to Venus. Do you have any idea or any contact with any of that information?
Absolutely. In fact, Venus exists in the fifth dimension. The only reason we can interact with them is because we're still only perceiving in the third dimension. But they're there. Their civilization is fully intact. They have ships coming to and from. And so, yeah, some of their cities are actually floating above clouds. So they have like huge land masses, like almost like the sizes of states, where they're above the clouds, and there are huge, civilizations there. And the reason they're able to do that is because they control gravity, and we're heading there. Many worlds do that. Many worlds have continents that are actually floating above the clouds in their atmosphere, and that's part of what I call in my book a Type 2 stellar civilization. Once we reach Type 2, which is what we were before we fell from the times of Atlantis to now, we're going to be able to do all that once again, and it's part of reuniting with our galactic community.
Very nice.
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and your book, Our Cosmic Origin, is a fascinating book. I'm getting through it. It's like one of those books you pick it up and you read it and you're like, oh, like I got to be with that a little while. So yeah, it's like this conversation we're having right now. It's like, oh, I got to be with that. I can't wait till the show's over so I can like reflect on it. So rarely do I go back and look at my shows, but I enjoy doing that on occasion. So yeah, this will be one of them. So that's fascinating. I think that we're seeing a lot of people that are gravitating towards this. You think on a soul level, on a consciousness level, they're being pulled into this information?
Absolutely, because the collective is rising, and when the collective rises, more people are more interested in the supernatural, in ufology, and the concept that we're not alone, in other dimensions. And so, this is the time. This is the time, Michael, for people to understand our multidimensional existence, that we are, not alone in the multiverse, rather, not universe, multiverse, because there is evidence that, there are many universes. And of course we see it through the Marvel movies and, all this other stuff, but, or the DC comics, we read them in the DC comics. See, that's one of the things that I used to tell people is that the writers of DC and Marvel were actually insiders that were part of ultra private secret meetings that took place in the 50s before they wrote the comics. They were under oath. They couldn't really reveal the intel that they received, but of course they decided to do it in their own way of creating stories and stuff. But what they're revealing is, when you think of the concepts of everything we learn through these comics, they're teaching us about other dimensions, superhumans, extraterrestrials. We're not alone. Other universes, parallel realities. All that stuff is real. It's on key. And it's all verified and validated through the realms of quantum physics, particularly like superstring theory, AM theory, unified field theory. All the avenues of quantum physics is telling us a whole new thing, a whole new description about our reality. In a way, it's almost like when disclosure does take place, because of the fact that the majority of people, especially the 70% that took the mark of the beast, code word, they're going to have difficulty digesting, because of this huge cognitive dissonance that is going to be, it's almost like it's going to be very hard for most. Many will be shocked when all this stuff comes out eventually. Mm-hmm. And that's a big part of the disclosure. It's not just about revealing all the great evil, revealing the oppression, what's been going on, right? The truth about the last 2 years, this whole conspiracy to bring about this one world, whatever, AI, all that stuff is just, small compared to the disclosure of information that's going to totally shatter everything we've ever been taught, about what we consider reality. Mm-hmm. No, that's just the tip of the iceberg, So we'll see how that unfolds in the next few months or next year. But it's there. We're really close, Michael. We're about 98% in, Mm-hmm. And that has a lot to do, again, with the solar system once again emerging into this photon belt phenomena, which I talked in my book. The photon belt is what collapses old paradigms, corrupts systems, and immediately transforms a planetary civilization into a golden age. And we've experienced this in the past many times.
Mm-hmm. Fascinating stuff. So I've heard, we've heard for a long time that there's going to be, a blackout of the news systems and TVs and all that for 10 days or something, and then they'll broadcast information about all the things that are the real history, all the things that have been transpiring. Do you think there's something like that that's coming, or do you think the solar flash comes and informs everybody and transforms us? How does all this work?
I think it's all happening at the same time. I think the solar flash has a lot to do with the transition, where the white hats do have the upper hand in that, and it also has to do with the split of reality. The ascending positive timeline going in one trajectory, and the negative AI loop timeline going in a different trajectory. So I also believe that the solar flash is what all religious traditions talk about: the coming of this Christ energy, or the return of a Messiah. Well, the Messiah is not a person; it's an energetic field. It's an energetic field that once it hits the Earth, it transforms everybody. It activates what is known as the Christ grid consciousness field of the planet, and then at that point, many people like ourselves who are very, spiritually evolved are going to activate the Christ mind, because we're already doing it. We already shifted from the old paradigm to, seeing things as one, seeing everything as interconnected in life. Us, the ecosystem, the universe, it's one big giant organism, and we're all connected, we're all one. So the more people adopt that philosophy and that mentality, the more we're closer to activating the planetary Christ mind, because, that's what the return of the Christ is. It's not a physical person. It's a collective. It's an awakening where the mind of the Christ becomes activated in millions of us. And then, that's when the shift takes place for everybody else to see or to experience a new heaven on earth.
Yeah, that's amazing. We've had great teachers in the past, Buddha, Jesus, and so forth, that have come in and helped to shift the consciousness up a tad, because it's tough. People are locked down in lower realms of consciousness. To bring them up little steps at a time, it's taken many thousands of years. So we both have memories of Atlantis and the fall of Atlantis and all the bad people that were in Atlantis. I see, and I think you've mentioned before, that you see some of these people, these bad actors from the Atlantean time frame, here again.
Yes.
How does that work out? They're here. In some ways, I feel like they challenge us. It's because when I look back on my lifetime, it's all the really tough stuff that I had to go through, made me much better, maybe stronger, faster, better, if you want to put it that way. But it's the same thing with some of these people that are coming, that have reincarnated in and are giving us these challenges. How do you see those people going forward, and what is their impact?
Well, we're in the final round between this flash, that started in the higher dimensions. So what we're witnessing now is the final phase, which light wins, because the reason light's always on the winning side is because at the highest level of reality, everything is orchestrated as a cosmic blueprint, cosmic program that is being influenced by, prime creator source. And so, yes, in Atlantis, we had a round with evil, and many of those people that were associated with the infiltration and takedown of the spiritual Atlantean culture have reincarnated today, and those are the people behind big tech. I'm not going to mention any names, but the owners of Facebook, is one person. The guy who is, I don't want to say his name, but people that are behind big tech. I'm just going to say, Facebook, Google, all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, they're all part of, including, the famous doctor starts with an F, and of course the big, Gates. I shouldn't say that word, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
Those were all key players in the Atlantean infiltration, because the whole purpose, the whole concept that we were fighting back then was the same repeating concept and evil that we're fighting here, which is the transhumanist agenda. And so it's what we're seeing here is we're seeing different realms of this clash between good and evil. It's starting with the higher dimensions. It happens in the what I call in the harmonic universe number 4, when AI first was developed 900 billion years ago. They blew up the Stargate Armathena in order to access the higher realms, and that was known as the War of the Elohim. So the Elohim won that war. They pushed the AI down. And then within the third harmonic universe, we had the electrical wars, which was a war that was fought by non-physical beings. That's why they were called the electrical wars. I mean, we're talking about just cosmic energies clashing between artificial intelligence and the organic way of life, or, what we're going to call the cosmic beings. And then in the third phase of the war, we had the galactic wars, right? We had the war between the Orion Draco Empire and the Lyrans. And then, of course, the Pleiadians joined the side of the Lyrans, the Andromedans, and all the other humans that banded together to establish the Federation. So, and then we had another phase during the times of Atlantis, which was ending the last phase of the galactic wars, and then now this is the final phase. So what we're doing is we're interacting with the same evil and all the way down as we go into lower octaves and dimensions of reality. And now, since we're in the lowest dimension, we're witnessing the last battle between good and evil, or we're experiencing rather the last battle between good and evil.
Excellent. So these long cycles, these 26,000 year cycles. At the bottom end of it was at 13,000 years or so ago was the fall of Atlantis, and now we're coming back up on the higher end. Now, we've been through these cycles many, many times, and some people, I guess, get to leap off and go to the higher dimensional realms, but this time is different, and that's amazing because we're seeing a grand cycle within the universe itself, and that's how it kind of filters down to us. So I see on the bigger picture as you're describing it, how the Earth really does have an impact in this. Very, very fascinating.
Yeah, because the Earth is actually the physical representative or representation of Sophia, which is what we call the Great Mother, Sophia, the highest levels of reality.
Mm-hmm.
And initially, Sophia was the original Earth, going back to the times before the omniverse fragmented into the multiverse, when the one became the many. But now we're bouncing back to all the fragments are coming back to the oneness, as we have said.
Very good, very good. So, do you have memories of being in the Secret Space Force? Are you involved in that in any way?
I have memories of being involved in an off-world program that was actually it was created by a collaboration of a highly evolved intelligences known as the Rock Confederacy, and of course, certain individuals on Earth and that were picked to be a part of this. It's called the Radiant Guardians. There's different branches. There is the branch that works with Solar Warden, and then there's the branch in which I was a part of. The branch that I was a part of had to do with with a war that has been going on in other universes. So I do remember having dreams where I would report. I would be in these blue suits and tight to the skin, and we would be walking in formation with I think I guess it's we had 99 individuals, but split into 10 lines. So it was a total of 5, 10. So we had a total of 100 with me. And we would just walk into a room and they would brief us. They would open us a portal, and then we would end up in Jupiter, meeting face to face with members of the Rock Confederacy, like the Azurites, the Blue Avians, just different intelligences beyond the Federation. And they were instructing us as to how we were going to conduct the mission. And, so they would show us a map of the cosmos, and they would say, okay, so this is, we're part of local universe number 84. And, part of the cosmic minor sector of Ansra, which is the body that our universe belongs to. But in the cosmic minor sector of Insrita, there is, conflict going on with AI. And then in the, another cosmic minor sector. So they would show us, we need to go to these other cosmic sectors and other universes to kind of help the inhabitants of those worlds. And so what they would do is, I do remember us being jacked to about 65 to 70% of our full genetic material. And it wasn't a serum that they injected. It was actually a chamber that they would put us in, and that would activate the other dormant DNA. And coming out of that chamber, our body was indestructible. Bullets couldn't go through, fire couldn't burn us. Some of us had the ability to fly. Some of us had the ability to harness electromagnetic, plasma through our hands and, direct it wherever we want, which is beyond, beyond any weapon on this world. Some of us were able to teleport. Some of us were able to control the weather with our mind and be in tune with the elements. So that's just us using 65%. Now imagine if they ranked us up to 100, then that would be a totally different story. But yeah, that's how powerful we are if we were to use our full capacity, Michael. But yeah, just memories like that of going off into these, preliminary meetings with different types of meta-terrestrials, all in attendance. And, because we do live in an organized multiverse, every planet, every star, every galaxy, and every universe has a Stargate code. So Earth is for instance, because we're part of the 7th super universe, they would first dial in 7. If members of the super universe wanted to come down to any planet, so they would dial first the super universe. There's 7, so we're part of the 7. And then they would dial the cosmic major sector, which we're part of number 5. And then the minor sector, we're part of 3. The local universe, we're local universe number 84. And then we're part of the 70th constellation known as Sirius. And then within that constellation, we're part of the 24th system known as the Pleiades. And then within that system of 52 star nations, we're part of planetary number 606, with Mars being 607 and Venus being 605. And that's how, everything is coordinated through the multiverse and well organized. So it was fascinating stuff.
That's amazing because, I've talked to other guys, former Marine, and he asked me on one of his shows one time about some of my memories. And that's interesting because I have a memory of portaling in to when I was a young teenager around 12 or 13, and telling myself, that everything was going to be all right. So I saw my other half from the future that came back to me, and it was wearing a blue suit. That's pretty cool. So are you familiar with Carla Rucker, the Law of One, Raw Material Law of One, where she talks about any of this information?
I've never read the works, but
Okay.
people have referred me to that material.
Yeah.
But again, I believe that it's all coming from Prime Creator Source, because ultimately, what distinguishes the negative aliens from the positive aliens is that the positive ones all adhere to the Law of One. They're all considered the children of the One, and they adhere and live by those principles. The regressives always lean towards service to self, and you know what I mean. They see everything disconnected.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally disconnected, and that's kind of the way it is. They don't have the connections that some of us do, and they're trying to stop us out so that we don't make the associations and raise our consciousness. So yeah, you've mentioned how the different. It's always fascinating to me what these different levels of dimensions are like as we move up through them, and you've mentioned how people, as they move into the fourth dimension, will live longer, and then people in the fifth dimension will have other aspects that they're, kind of like some of these superhuman powers, telepathy and so forth, start to come through. So, do you see the people that are in the long-lived years? Are they going to eventually upgrade themselves into higher dimensional realms, or are they kind of like in that fourth dimensional type of environment, and they reincarnate and come back again? How does that work? And the same thing for the higher dimensional guys.
Well, if you make it to the fifth dimension, then at that point you never taste death. All you do is transform your body.
Yeah.
More DNA. You just your body becomes the next stage. Yeah. But for those that are going to go into the fourth dimension, they might live a few hundred years, but that's going to give them the opportunity to learn how to master energy and learn how to master themselves. At which point, when they do leave their body, which to them it's a transition, and as they enter their new avatar in a higher dimension, at that point they're going to be able to fuse their light body, because it is through the light body that we become immortal. The light body, Merkaba, is pretty much the eternal aspect of what we really are, and that in turn generates the mold of this body as well. This body's held together through the light body, which is connected to the central suns, by the way. And so that's how it works. Once we enter the fifth dimension, we activate the light body, in which point we're able to just translate our body as we go up the dimensions until we become fully eternal. And then when we become fully eternal, it's because we have reunited with Prime Creator Source.
Nice. And that molding your body is definitely something that I've noticed when I've looked into past lifetimes, and I see myself in those prior lifetimes because there's pictures of them or paintings or whatever. I see that also with my partner. She's in the same, a lot of times she's in the same lifetimes together. Same look, same ideals, same everything, just moving forward. Now, some of us, have like partners that don't make it for whatever reason or other. Some of us, have these challenges. Some of us, people that are listening right now, maybe won't make it, and then some people will definitely go maybe even farther than we will. So that's fascinating to me. So what determines that? Is it just because it seems like most of us are pretty much at a certain level right now at this dimension. What determines whether we continue on, whether we check out, or whether we gently go up or go up big, or what determines that?
Well, pretty much the age of your soul. The oldest of souls are going to go all the way into the 13, 14, and 15 dimension. Wow. While coexisting with fifth, fourth dimension as well. They're going to be existing on every level. In other words, the more capacity and brain power and genetic material we use, the more we're able to exist simultaneously in all 15 dimensions. The 15th dimension being our Christ over self. That's like us reuniting with Prime Creator Source. So, from what I understand is that most of the starseeds and indigos are vibrating from dimensions 5 to 11 or 12. So there's going to be different levels of upgrades depending on how old their soul is. But within that cluster of individuals, we also have 100 individuals that are going to be vibrating at the 12, 13, and 14 dimension. And then within that cluster, we're going to have at least 13 individuals that are going to be existing on all 15 dimensions all at the same time. So, it all depends, But yeah, I think that the core of the 144,000 are going to be existing in all 12 dimensions at the same time.
Wow. Talk about multitasking. That's the, that's the ultimate. Yeah, that's fascinating. So, what else is on your agenda, your plate? I know you're on lots of talk shows right now. I love your talks on Catherine Edwards. I was just listening to your one you it just got posted. So, look forward to going back on that. What are you doing going forward?
I'm actually working on a third book. I'm currently writing a new chapter as I do a second edition for our Cosmic Origin, which is going to be out in the next few weeks with a totally new chapter. It's going to be re-edited because, I actually did edit it. But what happened was the formatter who was supposed to submit the final manuscript in order for Amazon to print it kind of messed everything up. And by then, it had already gone into print. And when I read it, I was thinking, oh my God, this is not supposed to look like this. So that's why there's some misspells and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm going to have a totally new edit. And this time I'm going to actually read it. I'm going to just make sure that Amazon does not print it until I proofread it again. And then I'm going to, give them the green. And hopefully with this new chapter added, people are just going to be able to see how it's going to segue to the third book, because the third book, Michael, oh my God, it's going to be out of this world. I mean, this one's already out of this world. So yeah, so the third book is just going to take it to the next notch, next level.
Well, give us a little tease. What is it? What do you have in it?
Oh my God! Okay, the third book's going to talk about the entire war, the ongoing war against AI that's been going on for billions of years.
Wow!
From the beginning, where it's like the Bible. In the beginning, there was oneness, and then that oneness got bored, and one day, in order to explore more of itself, it decided to divide itself. And then that's when I'm going to talk about the different archetypes, 7 mighty Elohim, the 12 archangels, and how we all come from that, lineage of celestial ancestry. But really more so, I'm going to talk about the origin of the AI, the scientist that was influenced to develop the first AI billions and billions of years ago during the 11th creation, because remember, we're part of the 12th creation. And so I'm going to talk about all that, the entire history and war of the AI. And then I'm going to relate that to the galactic wars, to Atlantis, Lemuria, and to what's going on now in the present. And at the same time, I'm going to give a glimpse of what its reality is going to be like for the next, millions of years. Like I'm going to do a kind of like a prophetic. Well, now that the Earth is going to become part of the at the hub of the multiverse, we're going to be part of the 13th creation cycle, because we're leaving the 12th now. As the Earth ascends, we're going to be entering the 13th cycle, and then I'm going to pretty much just reveal what that's going to be like to be part of the 13th cycle. Where there is no more AI, where it's life flourishing everywhere in the multiverse as new universes become developed, and as we go out there and pretty much repopulate all the different new creations that are actually already in development. So it's going to be fascinating. Yeah.
Oh, that is totally fascinating. Yeah, it's gonna stimulate a lot. I know you're stimulating a lot of people. You're really getting out the last couple of months. You've really been on a tear, getting out there. Now I know unfortunately, your wife is in stage 4 cancer. How is that going? I know you're juggling, writing. You have your kids. You're helping your kids out and so forth. I know some of them are kind of moved on and doing their thing now. But your wife, how's that going?
Well, it's called Bartter syndrome, which is where she her kidneys become deteriorated. So it's not cancer, but it's a terminal illness that has no life. I think they detected it when she was 14.
Oh wow!
Only in the last 5 years, it's been getting here to the point where I think her kidney function is at %. So they're saying that they're projecting that at this rate, it's probably going to be maybe just a few more months to a year. Because there is no cure. So unfortunately, it's been tough for me. I'm not gonna lie. There's times where I get down on my knees and I pray, and I say, God, please help me get through my day. And yeah, as much as I know, I always connect with Prime Creative Source as my ultimate guide. And I know that I'm here to aid the disclosure, to bring forth, next level of, cosmic information, while balancing out my daily, life as a husband and a father, and dealing with everything, including a 38-pound pit bull who is, everywhere. And just to let you guys know, when you guys hear that little click, it's her collar. Her collar has little, her information in case she gets lost, and it's always clicking. People are always saying, what's all that noise behind? It's my dog and my kid. Opening up cabinets, making cereal. I apologize for all that, but I am a normal person, just like everyone else. But I also want to point out that, the solar flash is going to neutralize all the nanotech and those that were forced to take the mark of the beast in order to keep their jobs. Those that were coerced are going to make the 5-dimensional Earth. It is those that pushed it and those that believed in it and lined up for it voluntarily that are unfortunately not going to make the new heaven on Earth. As written in the book of Revelation. It was a choice that they made.
Yeah, and that's good to hear. But that's obvious, I think, that, if you're at that level of consciousness and vibration, when the new vibrations come in, it just pushes that out, and it just doesn't get to come play. So med beds, and so someone's asking med beds, what I have a lot of different ideas about the med beds. Are you calling them holographic or something?
Well, there's different devices. There's actual med beds where you actually get to go into this, it almost looks like a little chamber device, right? And you're there for hours. And then you have the actual holographic regenerators, which they used in the in solar warning programs, where some of the super soldiers were actually, as they were fighting these huge 15-fold mantis and insectoids and reptoids or reptilians in Mars. Some of them had their arms cut off, and so what they would do is they would take them to the to a medical facility in Mars, Prime Areas, which was like the capital for Solar Warden, and they would use this holographic regenerator to regenerate their arm back, and it only took 6-7 hours. So those those pretty much replace limbs. You could blow up your leg, your arm, anything, and it just regenerates in a few hours. So they're slightly different than the med beds. We also have healing modalities that have to do with the frequency, with the using frequency to actually kill off the cancer, to kill off whatever it is that's eating at your red cells or your life cells, and through that frequency, it also regenerates. It allows more cells to come, to multiply at a faster rate. So there's going to be different types of healing modalities. The med bit's just one of them. I think there's a total of seven different. And all this is going to replace the farm. Everything that as far as the medical industry is concerned, it's all going to be gone when all this stuff comes to the forefront.
Oh, absolutely. So I've seen a lot of lately. I've seen people have these devices that you put under your mattress and all kind of crazy stuff. So my memories are, and they're just starting to come through, where when we sleep at night in the Space Force, we basically go into this tube type thing, and we're actually floating within that tube, and there's it basically knows what we need work on, if we have some aches or pains, or we're in battle or whatever it was where we were injured. It works on that injury, and we have the greatest sleep, and you're floating, so it's like almost being in water. So those are some of the memories I have, and also being in in the Avatar thing, where I have memories of being killed in battle, and then they bring me back and put me in a tank, and things regenerate within the liquid in the tank, because it has the cellular stuff and all the things that your body needs to regenerate itself, and they just kind of colors and electrical impulses and all kind of crazy stuff. So do you see anything like that in the near future, or is that further out?
Oh, no. That's all part of the restoration of these, healing devices. Yeah, because the Earth is going to become not only an interplanetary Type 1 civilization, it's going to go directly into a stellar Type 2 civilization, as it was before the infiltration during Atlantis. So the only difference is that now we're only going to be using technologies of light that have been restored by the Arcturians, the Andromedans, the Sirians, and the Pleiadians as well.
Fascinating. So
I think so. You must have been part of Solar Warden. It sounds like some of the technology that you're describing is technology that Solar Warden has been using for 70 years here.
Yeah, I'm not completely sure. I'm still awakening to those memories, but they come through, and I hear other people talk, and I sometimes finish what they're going to say before they say it. So yeah, memories are kind of seeping through. It's pretty fascinating stuff. I don't probably watch it or stay tuned into it as much as I'd like to. I'm kind of in and out of those organizations, because there's some craziness that's in there, unfortunately. So I piss people off, and then they talk bad about me. So I just get turned off a little bit myself and just pull back. But there's definitely a lot of stuff out there. So I really appreciate tremendously, because I know you get hit all kind of crazy ways. All of us do, that expose any kind of truth, because they're trying to suppress truth. So they're going to knock us in any way they can. So I know it takes a lot of courage to come out here over and over again and keep talking, but when I hear you talk, being an intuitive, I don't see any problem with anything you're saying. So I don't think you're trying to mislead. You're not making a whole lot of money from this. So it's not a big thing. If for me, when I started doing this, I had everything to lose because all the people that I used to work with and the very analytical minded SEAL teams and CIA, when I started going off in this direction, it was like, okay, Mike's way too far out there, so and I know you probably experienced a little bit of that as well.
That's because, in a way, we are at the forefront of the disclosure. We're leading the way, Michael. I'm sure a lot of people have reached out to you and thanked you for revealing what you know. It helps people, when you disseminate the information, and really it's a war on consciousness. So the more information we disseminate into the masses, that the more we're aiding the positive ascending time.
Yeah. So, and I see it in the chat. I just had to take somebody out of the chat. They get a little too crazy over there, but I see it in the chat all the time. Like, this will get posted, and then people will come in and way down. They'll throw some silliness in there. So I just tell everyone, when you see somebody attacking us, if you're listening and it feels right to you, if you're getting something out of it, that's all you need. If it doesn't make sense to you, you're not at that level yet, or maybe you're above us, I don't know, in some kind of level, then that's fine too. But just keep an open mind with all this information, because there's a very good possibility that all of this stuff is going to come at you very quickly. And if you're not prepared for it, you're not paying attention or have some kind of open mind towards it, it could overwhelm you, I believe.
And that's actually the true meaning of Revelation Apocalypse. It has nothing to do with the end of the world. It has a lot to do with the releasing or what's called an avalanche of knowledge and information, coming to you. Yeah. And that's what the book of Revelation is all about.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and your book is like that. Your book is like revelation. You're revealing information that a lot of us has been suppressed from us, and we've been kept from it. So you're helping to make those revelations.
Yeah, that's what I was told. I even had to put it on hold for a few years after I finished the manuscript, because the Galactics were telling me humanity's not ready for this next level intel. First the whistleblowers had to come out, thank God, like Corey Goode and others like Randy Kramer, and all the other whistleblowers that came out, William Tompkins, Al Balick. Oh my God, these are all my heroes. And also, what's his name? William, the guy who wrote Behold the Pale Horse, William Cooper.
Yeah.
He was murdered, but man, he actually is the one who opened up, the can of worms, not the can of worms, but he opened it up for everyone to really understand what was really happening. And that, we're dealing with off-world entities, that we're part of the galactic war, that Earth, it has been at the center of this cosmic war for a very long time. And, so my book wasn't ready, for the collective. So when 2021 hit, that's when I, received a download that the collective is now ready, because of the fact that Corey Goode had come out, other whistleblowers, and then they allowed the collective to now be ready for this next level intel, which is what I reveal in my book. Otherwise, people would not really understand this whole concept of the cosmos and the galactic wars and dimensions and so on and so forth.
Oh yeah, definitely. So Dolores Cannon, somebody just mentioned her in the chat. Dolores Cannon was one of my favorites. She was revealing past life information and connection to the consciousness, multi-dimensional stuff. All the way back into Jesus and Mary time frames, revealing information, all that. So how do you take all that information, maybe from all of your past lifetimes, and bring it forward? How does that work for you?
Well, we are going to be the integration of all our past lives. When we collapse the polarity duality, as we enter, 0 point, which is where we're heading, we're all going to have access to who we were and what we were before we, became stuck in this realm. But we're also going to be integrating the multidimensionality aspect of ourselves. So it seems like we're going to be merging what we're in Atlantis, what we are here, what we were in other, dimensions or worlds. It's all going to come to the here and the now, and that's how our memories are coming back. Once we activate the light body. But Dolores Cannon was another pioneer. I mean, I think she was she was sent again, to kind of like begin the ripple effect of disclosure.
Good point. Yeah.
And combined with all the other guys, William Tompkins, William Cooper, it just kind of it started off. It became like a domino effect, and it just like a wildfire. It led to this point where now it's like people are waking up to the truth, and yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, no doubt. And so, last words. What do you say for everyone, and how can people reach you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram. I guess I do have a Facebook. I rarely use it though. I don't use TikTok much, even though I do have one. But I'm always active on Instagram. It's under Project Restoration Zion 1, and just make sure it's Project Restoration Zion 1 word, because I do have other imposters that are creating these fake accounts. So mine has I believe over 31,000 followers that follow me. So all the other ones have lesser than that. Don't follow those. So I only have one official account. You could also order my book if you guys haven't read Our Cosmic Origin. It's like I said, it's next level intel. It'll give you an understanding of like the true history of the Earth and how it connects to the history of the galaxy. Talking about the different universes, the relationship of Earth to the multiverse. It goes into so much information. I still have spots available for my November Starseed Cosmology course. So if you want to take that class, that's definitely an activator. I go into detail about many different cosmic information that will actually resonate with you. Even stuff that I haven't written. So I still have a few spots left for my Starseed Cosmology course.
Very good. So when do you project your third book coming out?
Probably in a couple of years. Yeah.
Oh wow!
It took me 5 years to write this book. No, 10 years to do the research, and 5 years to write it.
Yeah. I've gone on a little bit of hiatus too from writing. It's tough because I had a book company that kept stealing money from me. So now I've got a better book company, so I'll probably start getting back into writing too. So yeah, I love it, but it does. You're right. It takes time. Like my first book, when I put it out, because I'd done all of the inner work, it just came out. It was very quick. But the next one took a little time, and the third one took a little bit more time. So yeah, it's a work in progress, no doubt. So Ismael, thanks so much for coming on. It's always a pleasure. I'm glad we were able to book you real quick again, because I know you're a very busy man. Thanks a lot, and look forward to speaking with you in the future.
Thank you for having me here again. Appreciate it. See ya.
Chẳng được quên khi cơn mưa đêm lại về. Em đã quên lời thề và ta như đông chìm sâu. Không gần mới em anh nhận màu. Em chỉ cần mơ đâu em bay. Chỉ còn là những cơn mưa vô giá. Cho bên mơ em không mơ anh. Anh một đêm mơ. Chỉ cần bên em không được cần nhớ. Và chỉ thôi không muốn nhớ. Và người ta bên nhau như ngã tớ. Muốn nhớ về say em chỉ còn với em ở đây. Và anh như muốn chết đi nhưng không muốn em mãi mãi. Tình yêu làm cho ta đau đầu. Không em như nằm hâm mộ. Anh như đang mong cầu. Và mưa bên em hút sầu. Chắc có mãi mãi em mơ. Chỉ có bên em nhưng đừng có mơ. Em vẫn đang dài. Em muốn bên ai. Anh không mong gì hơn. Chỉ mong em sẽ ở đây ôm anh thật gần. Anh chỉ mong đôi ta được có nhau. But em đâu sâu. Oh my
to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars, crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah,
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about